So yeah, what is next? We have Blaise Corvin
Ooh,
coming
yes,
to
we
talk to
do.
us.
Bring him on.
Another Blaze.
Howdy, howdy.
Is this the Blaze of Blaze and Kush? Are we finally
No,
getting that?
no, not
No.
that Blaise. So yes, Blaise, it's been so goddamn long since we worked together, and I was really having a great time doing Delvers LLC, surviving Ludus.
Awesome. Well, it's a good warm up since Delver's Forest coming here soon too.
Oh, you guys heard it from Blaise first. I don't know. I don't know if you've already. I don't know if you've already released that to your fans already. But
Yeah, I did.
My lips sealed until
I actually made it
something publicly.
I made it official like a week ago, and as soon as I did, I had like an existential crisis because I hate, publicly giving deadlines.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously these are self-imposed deadlines, but once I make it public, I feel like I'm locked in because then my fans are tracking to something, and I can definitely fail people other than just writing a crappy story. So that just it increases the pressure.
Yeah, I hear that, and I mean we imposed a deadline ourselves of October 30th for what 20 something titles. So
Yeah.
So yeah, we get you.
We relate.
We can relate.
Yeah,
it's been a long and hard but fun road, and your short story collection was a big part of it. And it's this close to being done. We're just like rushing to get little tiny bits put back together in details, but we have a little preview clip for you guys to listen to. So
that's cool.
Play that real quick.
Yeah, because what you've sent me so far has sounded just really cool, and I can really feel the amount of experience and just the amount of passion that you all have for a production like this. When I was listening to those clips of Surviving Ludus, I think that it really does all the various authors that work with me on that book really a lot of justice. So that was just a joy.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're actually going to play a clip from your story in particular. So yeah, let's get that started. The horde of unnatural hellspawn rushed toward the action defenders like a thundering wave of unrestrained hunger. Meager firelight from the town filtered through the buildings and over the pathetic wall, barely providing any illumination. Nicole could see strange, unwholesome-looking, and bizarre demons everywhere in the horde, all spikes and claws. Just like the invisible things her group had killed before, they all looked wrong, like they had no place in nature. She noticed several overall types of demons in the wave approaching them. The front of the horde was mostly smaller, man-sized demons with claws, horns, and sucker faces or unnaturally hinged jaws. Behind them were big, lumbering creatures, some on 2 legs, others on 4. Behind all of them, or riding on the backs of the bigger ones, were smaller, reptilian-looking things with spikes all over. She thought she could see even bigger demons far to the rear, where the dim light didn't quite reach. It felt like the demons were practically on top of them by the time Dior finally screamed, "Fire!" When Pasha unleashed her lightning cannon, it lit up the scene like a hellish mosh pit back on Earth. Pasha didn't usually get to use her energy-sucking weapon much because of the cost to operate it, and because of its very nature. The lightning gun could be sort of aimed, but sometimes it seemed to have a mind of its own, arcing and hitting anything within about a 40-degree area in front of Pasha, jumping indiscriminately from flesh to flesh, or even off of inanimate objects. Of course, being set up on a roof, with nothing but a sea of attacking demons, was almost ideal for the weapon's maximum effectiveness, and Pasha whooped in joy as she delivered flashing death. Slightly edited to be a preview, by the way. So that was actually Annie as Pasha, and that was actually Lori as Dior. So your story is the only one in the collection that has all the ladies doing parts. Because it's you're muted.
That was my fault. Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, thank you, and I hope you guys are excited for it. So,
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about how Surviving Ludus came together. Like, was it your idea, or did authors approach you to put it together?
So it was actually a fan's idea. In my private group on Facebook, I have a reader group, and I was asking people what they were looking for, or what, kind of banding around ideas. I do that sometimes. Usually when I'm like, it's at 2 or 3 in the morning, I'm having an existential crisis, and I have like writer's block and can't work. But I was asking people what kind of things they like, and there aren't nearly as many people who read anthologies as like main series, but the people who read them are very passionate. And what a lot of people do is they find new authors, they find new talent that way. So that's one of the reasons why they like that sort of thing. And I really like that too once I heard that, because I have a lot of readers who are also aspiring writers. So that was part of it. The other part was I wanted to tell a story, which is the one that you just played an excerpt from, and it's a short story. It's not its own completed book, and I needed a vehicle to be able to tell this story, because I really like having kind of a holistic view of the world and characters and whatnot as I proceed through the main Delvers books. That's one of the reasons why I wrote Nora Hazard as well. The Nora Hazard trilogy. So yeah, it was a combination of things. It was kind of like, giving an outlet for some of my readers who might want to write a story in my world and play in my universe. It was a way for me to grow as an author, because I'd never done anything like this before. And there was a lot of editing work that had to happen before this thing could go to market. Just like keeping things consistent. And it was a way to kind of give a core portion of my readers exactly what they wanted, which was to find more authors that they enjoy. So I think that we accomplished everything we set out to do, and I'm really, really excited about it. Like, of all the things I've done over the last couple of years, I think the anthology and Nora Hazard are two of the things I'm most proud of achieving.
Great. Yeah. And, I was really impressed with the quality of each story as well. I mean, like, you really got a good group of people to put these together, and it felt like they were passionate about it as I was reading it, like they had been immersed in your world before, and that they were excited to flesh it out themselves. So out of those stories, were any of them more popular than any of the others? Was there more buzz about any of the particular stories than others? And is there anything else coming out of any of them in the future?
So yes and yes. Well, obviously my story, it's my universe and my story. So a lot of people probably bought the book to read mine, and then, they read everything else because they're fun stories. But one of the stories that seemed to be the most popular was actually Surviving Ludus. And I am working with the author of Surviving Ludus, and he's actually creating his own series based on that short story.
Do you mean Engineering Ludus?
That's what I meant. Excuse me. Yeah. Sorry. For anybody, Jeff already knows, and everybody else on this this meeting, but I'm a little tired. I actually woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning and took a short nap before this interview. So that's why I kind of have the raccoon eyes going on too. So apologies if I misspeak like that. Yeah.
It's all good. I can't tell the difference between being awake and being asleep at the moment.
It's like we're Schrodinger's creative, neither living nor dead.
Right. Exactly. We had actually Engineering Ludus is the only story that's narrated by Gary Furlong out of the anthology, because, as you said, since there's a series kind of coming up based on that itself, wanted to make sure that someone was available to narrate it and keep consistent with the audio. So you guys keep an eye out for that as well. And one last thing I wanted to ask you, Blaise, and it's one of my favorite things about you, is that you fucking love knives. Can you show us your latest favorite knife?
So it's an ongoing struggle to figure out which knives I'm actually going to carry, because I have a fairly large collection now. And I actually do own some of the best knives in the world, which Sounds a little douchey, but it's also true. That one of the reasons I love collecting knives so much too is because yes, some of them are like luxury items, but you can actually buy one of the best knives in the world for the same price as a lot of people pay for a guitar or something like that, like an expensive guitar. It's not like collecting cars where to have some of the best cars in the world, you have to shell out like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars and tens of thousands of dollars in upkeep. Like even if I had the money for that, I don't think I could justify it. But anyway, with all that aside, this is one of my favorite knives. It's really funny that for anybody watching, I had no idea Jeff was going to ask me this, and yet I just have this laying on my desk because that's the kind of life I live. So this is a custom Alamic. So Alamic Cutlery is a custom knife maker. It's actually one of my favorites. And this one was custom carved by a man in Russia who is extremely talented. And it's carved with the Hugin and Munin, Odin's ravens, thought and memory, for anybody who doesn't know the mythology. And then Odin's spear is carved into the back of it. So the blade is actually Damas steel, which is a very special powdered Damascene steel. It's actually one homogeneous billet. I know that nobody really cares and I'm just geeking out on everybody, but hey, I like it, so I'm going to continue doing so. It's basically, in layman's terms, it's extremely pretty, and it's still an extremely high-tech steel. It doesn't have the inherent weaknesses that like normal pattern welded Damascus does. So yeah, and it's stainless steel as well. So this is a stainless steel, really high-end, super pretty Damascus. Everything on it is customized. The pocket clip is that same type of Damascus. And then I also have my lanyard, which has Hugin and Munin on it as well. So this is one of my 5 favorite in my collection. And the actual model is an Alamic swish. So it has this really cool kind of Persian blade. I like the juxtaposition of that Persian type blade with the Norse mythology.
Excellent. Wow. That thing looks badass.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd like to see your whole collection someday. I'd probably geek out with you, even though I don't know shit about knives. I think they're fascinating, and so having someone who's actually kind of an expert would be awesome to tour your collection. But all right, so we need to. What's our next segment, guys? Is it requests?
Looks like it's requests.
All right, we're gonna move on to requests, Blaise. But thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us and telling us about Surviving Ludus. I'm so excited for people to see what we've done with Surviving Ludus because it's been one of my favorite projects over the past few months, and I think maybe I might be this much more excited about Delvers 4 than everybody's excited to hear it. So we'll keep everybody updated on that. And
if you haven't listened to Delvers 1, 2, and 3, then now's the time.
Yeah. Well, right? It's kind of hard for me to imagine this crowd wouldn't have listened to them because Delvers is like OG lit RPG. You know what I mean? But you know what? Anyone who hasn't, for sure, go check it out. Delvers LLC by Blaise Corvin. Search Audible. You have what, 4 series now on Amazon?
I have a total of 13 books on Amazon now. Some of those are co-written with Outspan Foster. Like for instance, First Song is actually a young adult series. So I've done everything from young adult to harem now. And but now I'm really kind of doubling down on some of the stuff that I've put off for a while I've been working on my craft. Delvers LLC in particular, but I'm also probably going to be returning to Secret of the Old Ones after that. And it's also a lot of fun working on Engineering Ludus, the continuation of Engineering Ludus short story in the anthology. So everybody who picks up the anthology, if you really enjoy Engineering Ludus, that story is actually going to be continued. So yay.
Awesome.
Buy my shit.
Yes, buy his shit. Everybody, please buy his shit.
Or he'll stab you. He'll stab you.
But with such a beautiful knife, you won't even care.
Yeah. It'll be an honor to bleed all over that.
Like, just leave it in me.
That is kind of how that wouldn't be a bad way to go.
Oh, quality! Oh. All right.
I can feel the premium steel.
Just gonna end up in an evidence locker though, which is
Yeah.
sad.
Clean can
That's-
really
that is
tell
a
the
waste.
difference between premium steel and crap steel.
All right. Thanks again, Blaise. It was awesome talking to you, and we'll catch you later.
Absolutely.
All right.